so easily? Why did he leave like it wasn't nothing? Why did it feel like a discard, even though that you had invested everything, done everything that you could, and it just seemed like it was just so simple. Matter of fact, he went on and he got somebody else right after you, and they seem to be pretty serious. If you have ever been in a situation, or if you've had any question like, dang, what is it about me that made it so easy to leave me without really trying? And then on the way out, making it so ugly, I'm here to tell you, the way a man leaves you says everything about him, not you. In fact, there's a story it tells when a man leaves a woman. I don't know that I've ever talked about this before, but if the way that a man left, even if you were the one to tell him you couldn't take it anymore, you needed to be done with the relationship, I'm going to tell you something. You can tell everything about that man's heart, how much he was truly invested, what his true intentions are now, what he's going to do next, based on how he leaves. If you've ever been in a relationship and you were the one going hard, trying to have the conversations, trying to resolve conflict, trying to understand, you spent months, maybe even years forgiving and being patient, all of these different things. It is natural for you to care about how things end, even though you're actually done and you don't want them to continue on. It can throw you off. But the mistake I'm seeing a lot of women make today is looking and personalizing it whenever a man, sends a mixed signal in the relationship, or at the end, he really cared and all of a sudden he doesn't care. Or he didn't care at all and all of a sudden he just like, sun, moon, and stars. Can I have another chance? And then from there, you're not sure if you want to continue a friendship, if you want to, circle back around in a couple of months to see if things could be better, or, what kind of boundaries should be there? Was there something that you did wrong? All because how he left threw you off. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to ask this, and I want you guys to be candid with me. I'm your big brother. But have you ever been in a situation where a man seemingly discarded you when he was so in love with you? Then it went from being in love to absolute horror story. I'm talking about the resentment is building, the arguments are mounting, everything is wrong. And then boom, when it's over, it's like you don't even exist. That's discard, by the way. Have you ever been, put I down in the chat if you've ever been in a situation where you had opened yourself up. You had really given a large part of your heart, like your love, like you really invested yourself. And then he walked away like it was nothing. He moved on like it was nothing. Maybe he put up a little bit of fight, but ultimately it just seemed like he just got over you so quickly. No instant karma. No, can somebody keep it real with me? Because, when we on social media, everybody like to act like they just leave and don't look back and they don't care. You gave your body, you gave your heart, you gave your time, you gave your deepest, darkest secrets to this man. It is totally natural to care about where he's at mentally and emotionally upon leaving, especially if it broke you and it hurt you. And so first off, I want you to remove the shame. Secondly, I got this question from a sister. She was in, I think, a 14-year-long marriage, if I'm getting it right. And I'm only being this candid because she's a part of my private mentorship community. And of course, I'm not giving any names, but I did a masterclass for them. I didn't do this for the public. The Secrets to Attracting Alpha Males Only Masterclass. And I'll do this for my private mentees every now and then. In fact, I'm now going to make that available to the public if you're into that type of thing. But she asked the question, why is it that he moved in with another woman within a month of leaving us, meaning the family? He left the marriage. They separated within a month. He was already living with another woman. And now, of course, she's hurt. She just gave 14 years. She took on this man's last name. She built the business with him. She did this, that, and the other. 2 beautiful children, a whole 9. She's put it all on the line. I think 14 years married, 20 years together. And I had to tell her, like I'm going to tell y'all, it had so much less to do with you and so much more to do with him. The way that he left, the integrity in which he left, what he did before he left. So let's just go ahead and get into it. How a man exits says everything about him, not you. First thing, Rochelle used a 7-year relationship, had his only child, a son. Yeah. So there's a couple of ways a man is going to leave. And it doesn't all mean that he's bad. First off, let me just go there with it. Here's what happens when a man leaves and he's not bad. Let's just start with the good. What he'll do is he'll put up a fight. He'll put forth the honest effort. He'll make it very clear that he's not really wanting this to end, but at the end of the day, he's going to respect where you're at. That's a self-respecting man. Have no problem with that. I'm not here to just demonize all men that, you don't work out in a relationship with. And then afterwards, what you're going to see is he's going to respect your name. He's not going to talk bad about you. Even if he's telling his experience, he's going to include the other side that, you know what, I wasn't perfect as a man. He's going to include that he wasn't perfect, that you showed up for him the whole nine. And he's going to take some time before he starts seriously dating again. Now, if he starts immediately going into other women, just running through women, that man is coping. He is spiraling. That's just what it is. And so what this says about him is, at best, he has poor coping skills. He's heartbroken, but instead of healing, instead of processing, he's just going out here to distract himself with anybody that'll make themselves available. And if you know, like I know, there are women out here who will do just that. Okay. So again, not saying he's a bad person. I just want to give it to you straight. Because a lot of y'all see these dudes that move on, they smashing the next chick, they going in, and you immediately think, well, he must have been cheating. He must have been this. They must be in love. It's like, nah, a lot of times a guy would just look for somebody to distract him from what he's feeling. Now, this isn't a good situation for the next girl. Hopefully she's not getting her heart invested, but that ain't your problem. I'm just giving it to you straight. As your big brother, as a man, I know how men think. I know how I think. I know how other men like me think. I just know what it is. We're not all the same, but some things are universal. If that man coming fresh out of a serious relationship and straight, a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, depending on how long y'all's relationship was, straight into something else serious. And if he's coming, and I say serious because he's not being serious. He has not done the work. He has not healed and processed and come to terms with things. He has not done that. And what happens with a lot of men is a delayed reaction. A man will feel just fine after the relationship ends. Because especially if he was not truly all in on the relationship. You see, a man can be in love with you, but not be in love with the relationship he was building with you. He cannot be ready for the relationship he was building with you. This is why you'll hear from a lot of men, I love you, but the whole time they did unloving things. I know it's kind of tough for me to communicate to y'all as women. I was telling the sister this that asked this question and totally just, look, when I'm talking to men, they get it. Ask a man and he understands it. We can compartmentalize to where we love the woman, but we're not ready for the relationship. All that equates to is you need to stay away, by the way. Let me just make that clear. So what happens after a relationship when a man just, oh, I'm good. And he's out here going through these different women, he's already compartmentalized. He's not healing, but he's also not done with you. But he's able to throw his body into situations, his time and his energy into situations that feel more tolerable than actually sitting with the emotions. It's not a reflection on how much you are lovable or worthy or how he just don't care about you, etc. I want to make that clear. The second way a man may leave, he may literally try to get you to believe he doesn't care about you. I don't care. You ain't no good. No way. You're this, you're that. Just straight cold turkey, block you on everything, blah, 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 blah. Ghost you. Discard. That's typically a man who wasn't invested from the very beginning in anything real about the relationship. This is where a man is not in love with you. He did not love you. He loved what you did for him. He enjoyed what you did for him. He was never truly with you. He just enjoyed having access to you. So when a man leaves and it's actually a discard is the moment you start telling him no, the moment you start holding him accountable, all of a sudden he treats you like a stranger until you can't take no more, until he leaves. That's when you have discard. Okay? We're not talking about when you actually did something wrong. We're not talking about whenever he clearly expressed what it is that he needed from you and you just didn't show up for him. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when there was zero conversation, zero effort to make things right. The moment things got uncomfortable, you either were in a position to have to carry the relationship or the relationship was going to end. And it did. And then he insulted you, degraded you, etc. That's discard. Just like a piece of quote unquote trash. But one man's fumble is another man's touchdown for the championship game. Don't even trip, sis. I'm keeping it real with you. I've seen so many women be mishandled and it always comes back around. Those dudes always come back around later on when it's way too late. They always want to understand and get it once it's too late. But again, how that man leaves says everything about him, where he's at mentally, what he's trying to achieve in terms of what impact he wants to have on you, not your value. You said it ended as quickly as it started. Oh, yeah. As soon as you stop giving him the benefits, soon as you become, you see, some guys are more in love with the fantasy of a woman than the reality of a woman. And again, this is more so the guy who's also in lust with the functionality of a woman rather than the humaneness, the feelings, the depth, the complexities of a woman. That's a lot to get into, so I won't right now. But when you have guys who are just enjoying you, they didn't love you, they love what you did for them, they didn't love who you were as a woman, you'll get discarded. It won't even be a narcissist. He just used people. I guess that is narcissistic. But another thing that you need to pay attention to when a man leaves, if he does all of this emotional, oh, I changed my ways, I'll go talk to the lady. That man is desperate. He's desperate for a foundation he has not built within himself. That's what that tells you about that man. Why do I say that? It's not because a man who cares about you is not going to be emotional. Absolutely. I'm talking about when you see night and day. If you see that in a relationship, he did not care, he neglected, he put you last on the priority list, he had everything else more important to do than to love you, even though you gave him multiple opportunities over months or years or whatever that you gave him. And then boom, all the emotions come flooding in whenever he sees that you're actually serious about standing on business, standing on those boundaries. That man is desperate. You see, this is what happens when a man needed you to be his foundation that he wasn't for himself. He sets it and forgets it. He gets the foundation in there, but because it's not about relationship, the foundation only stands to support him, his daily functions, keep him going, keep him moving. So you cooking, you cleaning, you rubbing backs, you there, right? So that's his facade of love, his facade of self-love. It's actually romantic love. So it's playing the wrong role. It's out of position. But when he doesn't have a foundation for himself, you're not going to see any enthusiasm, any investment that matches up with a romantic partner who truly loves you. So he just got you as a foundation there. And the moment you snatch that rug from up under him, his life about to come tumbling down, his reputation about to come tumbling down, his mental health, his focus, his job, his everything is about to come tumbling down. And now he's going to get desperate. Oh, so again, the night and day is the differentiator here. If he acted like he could care less about you, then all of a sudden was ready to get down on bended knee and propose and all that is a desperate plea for foundation. That is not, I love you and I'm emphatically trying to make things right. I didn't know or whatever. No, don't get it confused at all. And here's one more that you got to be very careful about when you're dealing with a man. When he leaves, but he does so with sabotage, meaning he wanted you to be the one to end things. He wanted you to be the one, like he clearly was checked out. He clearly didn't care. And he wanted you to be the one to end things. And then after it's done, it's like a little bit of slight emotion, but it's more so relief. That means he didn't want to disappoint you. And one of two things, actually, because it's kind of 50-50. Either he was using you and he had found all the usage that he needed out of you, and or he's a people pleaser and he's afraid to let you down. Now, a lot of y'all may be saying, oh, people pleaser. No, ain't no all people pleaser, because if he's people pleasing with you, he was people pleasing with anybody that caused a threat to the relationship. This is also the type of guy who can't set firm boundaries with other women. This is what this tells you about him. He didn't want to let you down. He didn't want to disappoint you. He was avoiding conflict. So he let you be the one to finally say enough is enough, even though he was really done with the relationship long before then. In that kind of situation, he's a people pleaser and he can't set boundaries and stand on what he's on regardless. He wasn't willing to leave the relationship before it got that bad. He's not willing to leave any other friendship or external situation or connection before it gets bad as well. You were dealing with a man that was a people pleaser that needed everybody to like him, didn't want to let nobody down, and that includes his mama, his friend girls, anybody that's talking about him. That's somebody who's always trying to be approved by his homies. So what you really lost in that man was a people pleaser. Now, on the other end is an alpha male. I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna like this, but a true alpha male, once he realizes this relationship is not viable, we're not a good match for each other, it's gonna hurt him. It's gonna mess him up inside. But he's gonna assertively let you know, hey, look, I think you're an incredible woman. I just don't think we're right for each other. And he's going to give you the opportunity to choose what you do with that information. He's going to give you the opportunity to avoid any type of humiliation and embarrassment from continuing to be in that relationship by yourself. And as a big girl, you have the opportunity to say, okay, thank you for your time. This relationship has run its course. I'm done too. But another thing about an alpha male is more than likely, he's going to let you know long before you get invested. He's not going to use you first. He's not going to get what he wants first. He's going to assertively let this be known before you guys get too invested, because he's going to have clarity on what he needs, where he stands, on whether or not he can add value to you. Now, this is big girl conversation right here. This a whole new dynamic a lot of people are not ready for. Honestly, again, I went in on the master class, and typically these master classes are strictly for these types. When I go in for an hour, 10 hour, 15 minutes like I did with this one, this is strictly for my private mentees. But I want to make this available to you guys. The secrets to attracting alpha males only, because when you attract an alpha male, you truly position yourself for an alpha male. You're going to repulse everybody else. The brains work different for an alpha male who has clarity and certainty about his purpose, what he's on, what he needs out of his life, a woman, how she fits into that. And this is not for the woman that's just having fun right now. I need to be clear, because this is one of those master classes also not for everybody. This is not for the woman that's just having fun. This is specifically a master class for women who are either already in their feminine or looking to be more in their feminine in a relationship. All y'all fluid, you don't care, you can do what a man do, you want to be just like a man. This ain't for you. This ain't the one for you, and it's free, by the way. But this is the master class for women who are looking to be soft, remain soft, or be soft in a relationship with a man for the very first time, because you've never had a man who gave you the safety and security to feel soft. So I want to be specific, because every master class ain't for everybody. The secrets to attracting alpha males only. Some of y'all just need to wait, and it ain't going to be up very long. But if you want access to that, the link is right there. But moral of the story is this. When a man leaves, how he leaves says everything about him, not about you. Stop personalizing the demons a man came in fighting long before you even came along. But that'll be all for now. I'm your internet big brother, per usual, looking out for you. If you got something of value from this, let me know by hitting the share button and sharing with somebody else. Again, if you want access to the masterclass, hit the link. The link is right there at the bottom. Secrets to Attracting Alpha